My name is James Dunson, and I'm a resident of downtown St. Petersburg. And I currently work with the Boys and Girls Club at the Royal Theater in Midtown, and I teach the kids spoken word and poetry. And so once the kids switch from experiencing knowledge as something deposited into them, or something that is forced on them by an authority figure, and instead they switch to something that they take an active role in discovering and expressing themselves, not only will they learn, achieve better in school, but they become more whole people. And so another thing that me and a friend have started is an open mic at the same spot in Midtown St. Petersburg, to allow the kids in our community to express themselves using poetry or whatever other creative expression. So my vision of St. Petersburg is that this poetry, spoken word, is available to all citizens, all kids in this community, and in public schools, and in community centers like this. And I know a bunch of poets, spoken word artists, who are willing to make that happen. All we need is to collaborate. We can do it.
Sure.
For our city. We are the temporary caretakers of this earth. We take care of it to pass it down to the next generation, and they take it from there. We don't take care of it, we're going to ruin the living space for the next generation. Our ancestors did an okay job taking care of this earth with their limited knowledge. They were still learning, so they did a pretty good job. And back then, they did not have all the disposable items we have today, such as plastic cups, bottles, aluminum cans, and more. We know that there are a few recycling centers in the city, and that people can go drop them off individually, but it would take longer, and you're just letting all of that greenhouse gas, you're putting it into the air, which damages it for our living and for us to breathe. It would be a lot more efficient if one truck or vehicle just came around town and the city every week to pick up the recyclable materials that you leave at your doorstep, rather than everybody going individually and dropping off the materials at or center. We are kids, me and my brother, and we don't know much about financing and funds, but we do know that if we really want to do recycling, we can get it done, and that not recycling is not an option. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to voice our concerns.
Follow that up. No pressure, Olga, and also with the mic, which will be dealing with. I'll just hold it. How's that? I'm Olga Bob, fiercely proud resident of the amazing and awesome city of St. Petersburg. I'm the founder of Keep St. Petersburg Local, and we have one of our board members here, Jim Binnicker. As I look at what your priorities are in the budget, and I notice that you're talking about efficiency and the city's future success and long-term viability, you have the answer in your locally owned independent businesses. Not only are you going to have more in your coffers because of locally owned independent businesses leaving more money in the community, but you're going to have a more amazing community. You're going to have people who want to actually visit St. Pete because of its uniqueness, because of its local flavor. And again, that's brought out by our local independent businesses. I also noticed that you're talking about economic development, and when you're talking about economic development, again, more money stays here when you're supporting your locally owned independent businesses rather than your national chains. So when you're thinking about your policies, and you're thinking about your initiatives, and you're thinking about your incentives, what you really should be focusing on is, rather than bringing more Walmarts, you supporting your locally owned independent businesses that will grow from here. Locally grown actually, again, adds more to our community on many levels. And arts as well. When we talk about locally owned independent businesses, we're not just talking about shops. We're talking about locally grown food. We're talking about our local artists. Basically, everything that is making St. Pete amazing and can continue to make it even more amazing is based in local. So I'm just going to say one last thing, which is our local businesses are owned by the people who live in this community. They raise families here, and they make St. Petersburg a place where children can stay to build their dreams. They're invested in our community's future. Please invest in them.
I'm just going to talk about just what's important to me personally and kind of what I'm doing. I run a nonprofit organization called the Pangea Project and a place called the Venture Compound, which we are an art gallery. We focus on people that have never been shown in a gallery before, and we sell art for often under $100, often under $50. And the idea is being able to provide art commerce for people that haven't had that opportunity before, and kind of a foot in the door with that. And one of our big goals has become more and more since we've been around over the past year is not getting artists to move away. There's a lot of great arts things in the area. I mean, PCCA has great arts programs, but these kids, they graduate and they go to New York, to Portland, to Austin, to someplace cool, and they get there and they rent, a $1,500 apartment the size of my closet, and the grass isn't really greener. But what I would like to see as just focus and planning is what can we do? What can we do to make St. Petersburg competitive nationally with other cities as far as the arts goes? I mean, you could do things, just as small as maybe tax incentives to people that are renting artist studios and things like that, or maybe micro-granting. I know Hillsborough County has a lot of small, couple of $1,000 micro-grants that really make a huge difference for the arts community there. And I'd like to see more like that here. But we do what we can, a few people at a time, to try to keep artists here. And St. Petersburg has been doing it. We've been doing a really good job of becoming kind of the arts destination of the Tampa Bay area. And I'd like to see us be more of the arts destination of Florida, or the arts destination of the southeastern United States. And it's just with a little bit of focus, that we can really make yourself stand out. And there's a lot of important things. Economic, environmental issues, but the arts is really what makes the place fun, what makes the place good and great. And I think that all these things are just all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is last time I spoke, I was a student in Community St. Pete. I wasn't a resident, and now I'm a resident of Woodlawn, District 8. So I'm now I'm a St. Pete resident, I'm proud to say that. And I also work in St. Pete. I work person. So I work and play in St. Pete. I just wanted to make sure that all the city council men and women have a copy of the policies for the people. The people's budget review, because I'm going to talk about the key points in regards to this. To me, how it relates to everybody in this room. So if you see first establish a sustainable council, we need innovative leaders in the community who are stakeholders for the initiatives that are here in the People's Budget Review that coalesce with city officials, the private sector, nonprofit organizations that envision a St. Pete that includes all the People's Budget Review's recommendations. I think that there are many people that are concerned in regards to our local economy, our environment, social equity, and efficiency. I don't know about you, but I was driving here and I heard about the $5 million that we lost, that we can never get back. That's our taxpayer money in regards to the whole pier debacle. And I think with $5 million, there's a lot of things that could have been used in regards to our initiatives that we have right here, written for you as a suggestion for the next budget. As far as if you look in regards to beautification of our neighborhoods, I actually did a little bit of research, and and you can go online too, and there's other resources. Studies have been done in regards to cities like Portland, Oregon, New York, Philadelphia, that there's a correlation between trees and crime prevention. I think it's really important, especially if St. Pete claims to be a green city, that we need to be spending our money, investing it in green concepts. You have a wonderful resource of the University of South Florida, St. Petesburg, where you have, I see my professor, Dr. Dorsey, would be a great person to talk to, who could talk about initiatives and you know, give you ideas on how to make our city greener so that way we can save money. Let's talk about curbside recycling. There's many cities that are doing that. There's ways where we can actually recycle and make money and put revenue back into the city by having recycling. Here's an idea. Why don't we involve our children in it? There's plenty of schools that have maybe space. Maybe we can have recycling centers to the school and make an initiative, a campaign, and you know, have children recycle at school. The parents that are coming drop off your cans there. Involve your citizens, involve your children, because you know, your children are the ones that are going to
Can't hear you.
Many of you tonight have received the flyer titled Policy for the People, and if you have not, it is available on our website located at www.peoplesbudgetreview.org. Included in it are 8 policy proposals which have arisen from our first vision survey. There really are no surprises on the list and little if any controversy. These policy proposals are really just the beginning of creating specific policies to enhance our city, either immediately or in the 2014 budget or in the short future. The first is to establish a Sustainability Council based on direct citizen input into what we call the 4 E's: the economy, the environment, social equity, and efficiency. Every policy proposal that follows falls under one of those 4 factors. We are also calling for the establishment of universal curbside recycling. There is much to be worked out on the details. Many people have and will speak after me that know a lot more about it than I do and can lend their expertise. Another extremely important issue is working to continue on the new Southside Community Development Plan, which would create a new CRA on the South Side and the TIP funding necessary to unite the city into one prosperous, whole, and one seamless city. This will spur economic redevelopment and opportunity. The city has already been an active partner in this, and it's time to take us to the next level. Part of economic development and opportunity, needing to truly create this seamless city, is our proposal to expand the youth employment program. No city can survive and thrive without the hope for its young people to have quality job training, skills, and good living wage jobs. Our youth deserve a leg up. An unemployment rate of 16.9% in St. Petersburg is very unacceptable, and that is something we can and we need to work on. All of our neighborhoods are valuable, and living in a city that is beautiful from the bay to the Gulf is important to our residents. Our proposal to invest in trees and natural beauty of our neighborhoods goes beyond symbolism to the real benefits that trees can bring, along with well-lit areas. Beautiful areas rarely experience the crime of neighborhoods that are neglected and run down. Beautiful areas lead to an appreciation of where we live and encourage pride of our city. We need to take care to make all areas of the city beautiful. And just as trees can beautify and create pride and peace, so can our proposal to encourage the expansion of community gardens and urban agriculture. Enriching our local food supply creates new economic opportunities and provides for healthier and self-sufficient neighborhoods. Resilient communities are not only nourished by our food, we are also sustained by a vibrant culture which exposes all to the beauty of arts. We need to increase the support for local artists in all kinds of ways and continue to build the city's brand as a mecca for artists. Thank you.
Anyway, my name is Paula D. Witthaus. I live in Hawk Farms, down at Mills Point. I've been a resident of St. Petersburg for 30 years. I find it very encouraging that the mayor and the city council are very careful to give their ideas on what we'd like to see in the next budget. While there are a great number of good ideas come forward, from my point, it's about new employment programs to increase the amount of money we're spending down there. Additionally, to expand the hours of the recreation centers down in Mills Point. We have two great recreation centers, Lake Vista and Bay Vista, and also to think about eliminating the 4 hours we need to use the pools. A family of 6 will have to spend 24 hours to go and use our pools. I think that money would much better be spent on the family's needs and in the community to help our businesses. Thank you very much.
Some way of refunding the neighborhood grant program. We will find a way to create workshops to make certain all the neighborhoods get involved and handle the process. The next part is just as a reminder, Kona is behind the initiative where you all figure out how to do universal personalized recycling. I tell people all the time St. Petersburg is smarter than other cities in Tampa, and I'd like you guys not to prove me wrong on that. 49 of the other largest cities in Florida can get universal personalized recycling and get their trash picked up for less than we're getting our trash picked up. I got to think we can be a little smarter. This last topic, I brought it up last time. I haven't seen any movement on it. We're still arresting kids out of our schools for tic-tac fouls. It's got to stop. If you want to save money, quit arresting these kids and grinding them into the criminal justice system.
My name is I work at USF St. Pete, and I work with students with disabilities, and I would also like to say that supporting youth with disabilities should be a priority. 16.9% is bad. People with disabilities are pushing 50% in the United States, and it's not because they're unable. It's actually because employers are unwilling. So if the city could lead by example and embrace the ambiguity, tolerate the unknown, and I promise you, you'll be surprised. I would like to talk a little bit about a sustainability council. We're not going to hash out the details of it, but I think what it does is it shares leadership, it empowers people, it crowdsources solutions, which is a much better strategy. Instead of hiring one person to find a solution, empower dozens of people to find a solution. It obviously increases sustainability, efficiency, but I think more importantly, it proves to the residents that you trust their judgment and their capacity to participate in the creation of their own future. Empowering people does something to eliminate the feeling of apathy. When they feel more effective, they will be more likely to
engaged and more committed to the solutions that come out. So I'd like to see you increase support for youth employment. The Efficiency Council would be awesome, but also local business. That is one of the driving forces of any recovery, and thriving St. Petersburg would, the future of a thriving St. Petersburg would include significant support for local businesses, local art, urban agriculture friendly policies. We need to insource the solutions to our problems and stop waiting for other people to solve them. And after all, the best thing leaders can do is build other leaders. So if you all could be serious about empowering our neighborhoods and our youth and the people who want to do something to make a change, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very kindly. Yeah, my name is Art Plumbing. I'm a resident of I'm very, very, very disturbed about the theater coming down. Now, if it was a piece of garbage, you know, by all means, knock it down and replace it with something that's going to cost $50 million. And there's not going to be any hope. It's an amazing thing. I come down here from Brooklyn, New York in '89, and my taxes have been going down, 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 and down. I should be happy. Right? Wouldn't anybody be happy if the taxes are going down? Of course. That's what we're in St. Petersburg to do. Reduce the people's taxes. Unless they're unhappy with a lot of different things that most people are not going to do anything about. I don't want to see a sermon. I don't want to hear a sermon. I want to see a sermon. I'm one of them kind of guys. But at any rate, I don't understand when you're losing money on something, and somebody is in charge, and you keep on losing money, and keep on losing money, and keep on losing money, and keep on losing money, you don't replace it. I don't understand that. The pier, as far as I'm concerned, one man's opinion here, should be able to pay for itself. But there are going to be people who are going to explain to me on an intelligent economic level that that's not possible. Because of this. There's nothing wrong with excuses. But this young little lady was over here, and she got up here, and she said, we can get it done. What is she talking about? What is this young lady talking about? It's an attitude. It's an attitude. And the attitude is that you're comfortable losing money and reducing my taxes. By all means, continue to keep on doing what you do. And you're going to keep on getting booked. My son said to me, he says, Dad, why did you move here to St. Petersburg? You know, the young girl said over there, that it's the green city. You know what my son calls this? He called St. Petersburg the sleepy city. He says, I'm falling asleep over there. And most people in St. Petersburg are comfortable with that. And the reason why they're comfortable with that is because people are really doing a splendid job. But we have to do more. And the reason why we have to do more is because we have to have a change of heart. And if we don't have a change of heart, we're not going to have a change of attitude. Losing is not an option. Thank you for allowing me to come to this. All right.
Hello. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak tonight. I am Jeffrey, a member of the Grand Central Main Street District, and also the coordinator for the Central Council. The Central Council, as you know, came out of the CARP, or Central Avenue Revitalization Plan, review adopted in 2012. It created an organization that helped link the 7 business districts along our spine on Central Avenue. We began working this spring as the CAC, that's the council's name. And over the past 5 months, we've shared our vision with each of the districts. We've identified the common needs and projects within the areas. We've re-energized, or started to re-energize, several of the business associations that really haven't been active in the last couple of years, west of 31st Street. And all of this is a foundation to implement the plan that you've all adopted as the CARP. We want to strengthen our local economy in Main Street and our local businesses through this plan. We thank you for the funding and the support that you've already given to the various districts over the last several decades. And we really applaud your effort for trying to now link those bay to bay so that we get a holistic approach instead of one little shotgun district at a time. Because we know you gain economies through that. And obviously cost reductions, which I'm sure everyone appreciates. We wish to discuss with you tonight our budget issues for the upcoming budget year. We're going to submit these to you in writing over the next couple of weeks. But I wanted to talk about a few main points that we're looking at in the immediate area. The first one is the maintenance along Central Avenue. As you know, that's sort of been turned over in the last year or two to the property owners along there. And unfortunately, the day-to-day maintenance expected to be handled by mom-and-pop startup businesses has led to a reduction in the appearance of Central Avenue. And you've invested a considerable amount of money in some of those districts so far, so if you allow it to deteriorate, we know that we will have problems. Sidewalk funding. While you have spent many millions of dollars in sidewalk funding, as we improve these districts, as we try to raise the economy, we're not quite keeping up with the demand that we're creating for a pedestrian community. We cannot get the economics to work if the pedestrian aspects of that community don't work alongside it. And as part of your CARP plan, we talked about increasing densities and getting it to be a transit-oriented community that needs, frankly, much better sidewalks. We also need assistance in public safety along Central Avenue. Again, economic development will not come if it's perceived as unsafe. If we increase the appearance, and that may not exactly be a budget issue, but the way that you're talking about, create that appearance, we can help the economics come that much quicker. Finally, what we're going to be requesting is the funding that you've already submitted to be also continued. Thank you.
And I'm the president of the Edge Business District, and as Bob stated, the Central Avenue Revitalization Plan was developed by City Council to increase economic development along the Central Avenue corridor. The Edge is located on the edge between Martin Luther King and 16th Street, right next to, on the edge of the Tropicana Field. And so we serve kind of as a gateway into the city from Grand Central and the west, all the way from Beach Drive to east. And we serve as an important link, and we're also a part of a larger plan called the In-Town West Redevelopment Plan. And since that time, we've grown, and we're now ready to move to the next level. And the next level will be funding for a Main Street manager, just as 22nd has a Main Street manager and Grand Central has a Main Street manager. And in that way, we can, our district as well as Grand Central can assist the other districts in getting movement and organization so that we can realize this dream that council has of making that corridor one beautiful Central Avenue as a destination. So.
Can we turn up the microphone a little bit?
Because we can't hear over here.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Brown, and I am the president of Wildwood Heights Neighborhood Association, which is in Midtown. I just want to ask a question. How many of you have driven down 22nd Street lately, south? How many have driven up 18th Avenue south? I'm not going to say we're in a pretty good position because my thing is with the budget this year, I am asking that you focus on redevelopment. on 22nd Street alone, from 5th Avenue South to 18th Avenue South. I took a few people over there, down there with me. And this has been promised redevelopment for I don't know how long. A private investor just bought 3 buildings that he is renovating himself. How long is it going to take? I'm asking that you put money in this budget to renovate not only Midtown, the South Side. We want a seamless city. When is it going to start? We need that. I have friends that won't even drive past Central, but I can go everywhere in my beautiful city. And another thing is the youth. I am a CETA baby, as I call it. Every summer I had a job. I had a single mother. And you don't know how proud that made me feel to be able to have a job where I could buy my own school clothes. We have kids out here committing crimes. We need to give them something to do. We have money in our budget to do it. Stop holding on to it. Right. Let it go. Let's stop.
St. Petesburg for 7 years with my lovely wife, and we're still on vacation. Thanks to you all and the high energy that you give and the calories you burn to make this city great. We're just proud of you. When we came down here from Washington, D.C., the thing to just kind of sit out on the porch and spend out for the rest of our lives. We started a business called House to Home Relocation, and our whole focus was on senior wellness and food and cope with the issues that they have growing older. And coming across a lot of sad situations in our practice, and as the city knows, we sponsored a research project 2 years ago, actually surveying our senior population. And a lot of things are great in St. Petersburg, but as you get older, and I was noticing some folks, you're kind of bending towards the microphone because the hearing may be going out. Anyhow, so my point is balance. We need to have the jobs for our kids. We need to have the wonderful things that make them grow to be very valued citizens and residents of St. Petersburg. But I guess my message is the seniors. It's not good enough to have a senior center, virtually senior center. Many of them don't have transportation available into the senior centers. Many of them have problems in terms of hearing, in terms of participating, and they need a little extra help. So I'm kind of asking the city to not leave the center of the seniors out of the picture. I know over the years we've grown from being the grandparents. St. Petersburg used to be known for parents were in Sarasota. Now we're the parents, which is a good thing. We're kind of moving down in age. The kids are still in Miami, don't worry about it. But the point is that it's a good thing that we're a younger city and we're attracting a much younger population, but we can't leave our seniors behind. They are still very much of not only a voting bloc, but also a participant in many of our activities. Thank you.
Paula Witthaus and
Good evening, my name is Paula Witthaus. I'm a proud new homeowner in District 8, North Petesburg. Anyway, I had a whole bunch of things that I wanted to just refer to that many wonderful people have done a good job doing. So let me say what he said, and what she said. And I just changed my whole tactic because I noticed that a lot of the people that stood up work with or run nonprofits. These are the people that are providing services to people in the city that don't have things that most of us have, and that the city is either not allowed to provide for them, cannot provide for them, or will not provide for them. So, along with the Sustainability Council, I envision a department of the city that helps support the people that are supporting the people. And here's what I have envisioned for myself. I operate a nonprofit. I'm a tireless advocate for health care for all. I've been to Tallahassee. That didn't work out well for us, but it's not over yet. But the point is, along with what I do with that, I have an idea for a fresh food bank. There's a lot of people here that are growing food, want people to have access to it. I would like to have the city maybe help me find an office or a place where we can open the doors so that their overgrowth can go to the community and hungry people get fed. Having said that, I think that there's a way that you can do everything for everybody. But I just noticed all these people, private business owners, not one corporate weasel that has gotten a tax rate from you has come to any of the meetings to thank you for helping them. I'm here as a homeowner and a resident of District 8 and a service provider to say thank you for your service. And for those of you that are leaving, you're still going to be residents here when your time is up. Think about the city that you want to live in. I love my city, and this is my 50th anniversary here, which is pretty remarkable for a 40-year-old woman.
Recently, I learned that Sarasota is, my hometown has one of the highest recycling rates in the state. I didn't know that. I grew up recycling. I learned to separate my recyclables and put them on the curb on trash day. It was a normal thing for me. And I thought curbside recycling was everywhere until I moved to St. Pete, the first green city. Apparently, curbside is a luxury here and not the norm. And I've always wondered why. Substantial demand exists in St. Pete for universal curbside recycling, and that's nothing new. Not only for the obvious environmental benefits, but also for the convenience of it and the cost-effectiveness of it. With the subscription-based service, the burden is on the residents to sign up. And right now, only about 4,000 residents participate. As a result, there's a whole lot of trash being wasted. And let me also say that waste to energy is not recycling. Recycling saves 3 to 5 times more energy than the material for use. Some other mind-boggling facts that illustrate just how far behind the curve St. Pete is. Out of the top 50 cities in Florida, we're the only one that doesn't offer universal curbside recycling. In Pinellas County, just about every municipality but us recycles, even small towns like Gulfport and Pinellas Park. And St. Pete has one of the highest sanitation fees in the county, yet we're one of the only municipalities that doesn't recycle. This month, St. Pete polls asked over 1,600 residents if they prefer universal curbside recycling over the current subscription-based service. The results confirm what we already knew. An overwhelming number of St. Pete residents favor universal curbside recycling, and that number was 65%. Speaking at a recent recycling campaign press conference, the president of the Chamber of Commerce put it well when he said, "I don't know how you can make the claim of being Florida's first green city and not consider what curbside recycling would do for us all." The reality is we have to make recycling easy and attractive, and if we want to maximize the amount of recyclables that we present. It's the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do, it's what the residents of St. Petersburg want. We're just asking for the leadership of the mayor and the city council to make it happen. Thank you.
How you guys doing today? Great. Friends. things. First, arts and culture, it's no brainer. We're very lucky to live in such a vibrant community that has all these creative people creating. And if we direct that in a positive manner and foster that, I think we continue to have this growth pattern, because we are growing. We are growing. I feel it in the air that the economy is turning and the pendulum shift has happened. But there's an alarming trend that we've heard a couple of times come up today: youth unemployment. 16.9 is a number. That's where the African American unemployment disconnected rate is. For Latinos, it's at 20%. 1 in 5 Latinos, 18 to 24, have a job in the St. Pete, Tampa market. That's extremely disturbing. We are, I believe, 18th at the top 25 metropolitan cities at that unemployment rate. That's troubling, because as the economy goes up, we have to, again, make sure that the people that are eventually going to take care of us are working. And not to say that we're not doing things. I had a great conversation with Casco. We put out $300,000 into that program. They are going to schools all the way from Tarpon Springs down to Southside St. Pete, so we're trying. But you just can't throw money at a problem. You said we have to get creative, so we must get creative. There's an amazing group of community organizers in here that will get right behind that project, not just give out a flyer, but go door to whatever it takes to engage these children, because obviously they're disconnected. A lot of them aren't going to school, they're not working. Just double down on whatever we're doing right now to get these public-private partnerships and internships. Pasco's hiring 10 people this summer. 100 people applied. Double it up, 20 people. Whatever it takes, know that there is a room of people willing to support you and to do those creative methods or whatever it takes to get these people working. That's it, thank you.
Names?
We didn't hear you.
Okay, I thought so. I just wasn't sure. It's been a long day. My name is Robert Davis, and I'm a candidate for the St. Pete City Council, District 8. And I have a vision and passion for the city. I have strong ties to the community, and I've been working for the city, or working with the city in one capacity or another for the last 15 years. My daughter Amanda was born here, and my son graduated from Boca Ciega College, Boca Ciega High School, rather. And my wife just got her graduate degree in Tampa. So I have a lot of stake here in this community. I have a lot invested in here. And what's more, I've worked for the city, and I know how it operates, and I know a lot of different ways that we can generate more revenue for the city, and also cut costs that we have. I have a lot of ideas for that. What I see here is I think our council needs more diversity. It would be good to have somebody that has worked with the city before, worked for the city on the council. I can see a lot of things that are inside the city that you may not have seen before, you know, when you're on the outside looking in. You know what I mean, Steve, right?
24 years working for the city. So
Yeah,
you
know what I mean. So I have a lot invested in the community. The People's Budget Movement is a group of dedicated citizens who are stakeholders in the community, and they have a vision and passion for the city. And I want to reiterate a couple of things that they've already discussed. You can see in their campus. And the Sustainability Council is a good idea. I look at all the different programs that we have going on. I look at how sustainable they are. Some of them seem like they're just 6-month programs, if you look at it, or 3 months tops. The universal curbside recycling, that was something I noticed when we first moved here. I was wondering why we didn't even have it earlier than we do now. It's a good start than what we do have. I just think we could have a universal one, something similar to maybe what Sarasota already has. Places had for a number of years. I like to see more support of local artists, and I've got some ideas in that area as well. The youth employment is a big thing, obviously. If you have a kid working during the summer or working at different places, that's less time for other things that happen. Support of local businesses is a big thing. I think we need more job creation. I've got some job creation ideas. I've been looking at the Brooksville, Florida model. they have a really interesting program that directly gets people back to work. It has a training program that I'm looking at. So I just wanted to say vision and passion. That's what I think we need to be looking at. I see signs of that here. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you all for this public forum tonight. My name is Kara Cooper. I am a District 4 resident in Oak Northeast. As a resident, I support everything the local budget has put forward for making our city greener and a more wonderful, exciting place so that we can be a great destination, even bigger than we are. But my other hat is I'm also the president of the Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition here in St. Petersburg. That we are working for better urban agriculture opportunities both for the city and the school board to find available land, but also by empowering our residents to be doing their own farming and agriculture because there's job opportunities, there's educational opportunities, there's quality of life improvements that all come with our own local food, and some health benefits as well. So I strongly urge the council to consider finding ways to work with your community that is already heading in this direction. So find a way to go with us. And we already appreciate the efforts, particularly from partners, who has already started a conversation about how we can make this more possible in our community. And Rick Martinez was here earlier this evening. We've been supporting him making a Sweetwater CP, which I am also a member in the past. As he mentioned, 20% of their members drive over to Tampa to pick up their shares, and they're coming from St. Pete, so there's clearly a need. And we're a tremendous educational resource for our community as well as a great community center for activities, but also just creating a great sense of activity and education. So, thank you.
Hello, Council, Mayor, citizens. Last time I was talking a little bit about vision and process, vision and policy, and figuring out how you pay for it. And one of the things I think is a really good process when you're from vision is to take detailed notes. So hopefully there's a lot of that going on because there's a lot of really good ideas, and if it's not getting effectively recorded, then I don't know where it's being heard. That doesn't turn into good policy, it just brings your ear to the residents. Another good process is to get quality, detailed data on what people have set as a priority. And I think People's Budget Review has done a good job with that. I'm tooting my own horn a little bit because I volunteer with the organization. But this is a great place to start. And not to bust your chops too bad, but starting the conversation of vision building or whatever with what do you want to cut or what do you not want to be cut is not an effective way to lead. If you want to get buy-in, you use people's ideas and they will buy in. We'll find a way. We'll use that can-do attitude that everybody keeps talking about. Once you develop some effective policies that could address some of these things, you find the money. You find the means to make it happen. That's what leadership is, making it happen. And I know some of you personally, and I know some of you have been proactive. That's exactly what we need. We need more proactivity instead of just reacting to the problems that come up. You know, whether it's planting trees or maybe making things, crime go away, or actually focusing on high crime areas with police cruisers. Whatever it is, we need those proactive solutions, and you have an amazing set of citizens that are ready to work for you and work with you to develop these ideas into sustainable, effective solutions for our city. So I encourage you to use this as the outline and then engage us. That is your job. Engage us and lead the way and manage the process. Project manage the process. Somebody's got to do it. And somebody that's getting paid is more likely to actually follow through than a bunch of volunteers. So I encourage you guys to either make a process or make a position, whatever it is that does and manages this process of vision building in the future and developing policy ideas that are going to get citizen ideas, citizen buy-in, because you're using the citizens' ideas. Thank you.
Hi, Alex Sensing. Hi, I'm Alex Sensing. I'm running for City Council, District 8. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Mayor and City Council for ICANN, our city's outreach program for people interested in volunteering. As a city that is simultaneously progressing to greatness while experiencing monetary shortfalls, St. Petersburg must further publicize and build on the ICANN program so that people may volunteer their time and their resources to the city and the positive initiatives that are going on within it. There are many of us in our community ready to jump in and help. We just need to know where to go. Additionally, I believe that we should take the time to thank and appreciate all of the individuals who have eagerly devoted their ideas, love, and labor to our city. And we ought to encourage and nurture efforts to do even more. So, I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to all of you, because I believe that social
Safety is way better than that experience. It's an amazing city, and we really need to be prepared to enter into our next chapter of greatness. And so thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk.
Good evening. I'm one of the Green Badge Brigade that you see sitting throughout the area, and as you haven't, if you haven't noticed already, we're all in favor of universal curbside recycling for St. Pete. We're a small fraction of a large and growing coalition of citizens, community groups such as KONA, SEIU, Sierra Club, and the League of Women Voters, of which I'm a part. My name is Rachel Garofalo, and I'm just here to say a few words in support of universal curbside recycling for St. Petersburg. Much has been said about the past city's efforts to explore the options of universal curbside recycling for our city, and a lot of the knowledge comes from an older report where it basically addresses the economic, environmental, and citizen support viability for a universal, citywide, universal curbside recycling program. And what I would suggest is that there's a lot that's changed since that report came out. There's a lot of economic ways to offset costs. There are MRFs, which are processing centers coming into the area that make it much easier to sort and process recyclables. And the environmental aspects of this, I don't think, are disputable in terms of the benefits. And then in terms of public support, you've heard it, you see it. We didn't drive this campaign, we merely gave it voice. You know, we're responding to citizens of St. Petersburg who have asked us, hey, please get behind this issue. So as the League of Women Voters, we commissioned a report, and it's a very in-depth, analytical look at the state of recycling in St. Petersburg. And what it has come back and told us is that it is doable. As you've heard, we are one of 2 of 24 municipalities in Pinellas County, and of the 50 most populated cities in the state, we are the only one that doesn't offer universal curbside recycling. We would like to begin a conversation as to how we can make this happen for the city of St. Petersburg, and we look forward to working with the council and the city staff and creating ideas on how we can make that a reality. I want to thank you for listening to me tonight. Have a good evening.
Pinellas Point Civic Association, resident of St. Pete since 2001. My family lives in, obviously, the Point. I've got 4 kids here, married here, so we do a lot of business. I'd like to also begin with thanks to the People's Budget Review Team, to Mayor Foster, council, and city staff, and community leaders, and all that have put time and effort into the process and to making it possible for many voices of our community to be heard. The proposals of the People's Budget Review that kind of resonate most with the community I love and serve are the expansion of youth services through the Youth Employment Program and increased support for locally owned businesses. 3 weeks ago, close to 300 people came out to the 34th Street South Corridor Project. I know the paper said 200, but I think it was close to 3. The group expressed support for the plan presented to redevelop the area, and I'm confident that in time this redevelopment will make a left-hand turn on 34th Street South, down 54th Ave South, and positively impact the business development of the Point. For the 9 years I've lived there, I've had to travel to purchase the goods and services my family needs, and I would really love to spend my money in the community I live, work, and play in. Supporting locally owned businesses not only provides jobs, but will create more development opportunities and keep our communities together when corporate weasels walk away. I said corporate giants, but anyway. The other topic of my heart is youth. They're what got me involved in working with my community, and they're the glue that bonds me to working in the community. They're absolutely why I will never walk away. I stand in the gap for every person that can't make these community meetings because they're working 2 jobs. I represent kids whose parents, for whatever reason, are unable to provide them with the tools they need to get the job done. The expansion of youth services is an immediate need in my community and can be tied into supporting locally owned businesses and business development. By providing youth with support services like mentoring, tutoring, etc., they can be groomed for employment. It's simply an investment in future community leaders and productive residents rather than just consumers. A lot can be said for a city by how they treat their youth and their seniors. GPBCA has made strides towards both these goals by implementing programs like We Read literacy program, organizing business development action committees, and with our upcoming youth summit. I say that to tell you I'm about doing and not talking. And I'm here for all the regular, everyday, hardworking people just like me and my family out there running the race each day, trying to make 100, 99 and a half. This will happen.
What did you say?
Names?
Robert was double. Not very long.
Ernie Maloney? Rick Smith?
Good evening. First, I'd like to vent for a second. Took off work early, drove here from the countryside to a meeting that's been planned for months. Okay? I had lost money because I got up early to come to this meeting. I get here, I sit on this side of the room, I can't hear hardly anything that's going on. The meeting's been planned for months. The speaker should be on so people can hear what's going on here. Since you guys aren't being asked any questions at this time, would you share your microphone with her so we can hear the names that are being called out? No, I'm just asking, could she get a mic or something so we can, I mean, this came just out of politeness, you know what I'm saying? I mean, these people just have to come out here to be heard, and we can't hear what they're saying because we're sitting over here. We got 2 microphones, 2 speakers over here. They're not even working. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, that being said, good evening. My name is Ernie Cumming. The president of Friends of the Johnson Branch Library on 18th Avenue South. And I don't know what's on the table to cut this year, but I'm just asking on behalf of all those who love our libraries that any cuts pertaining to cutting the library budget be reconsidered. We, the Friends of the Johnson Branch Library, over the last 20 years have put our hearts and souls and monies into the library. And in recent years, we spent thousands of dollars each year to promote and to fund the library and its programs. Over the years, we've seen the services cut and the hours also. Now there's only a little meat left on the bone. We're asking for your help to keep that little meat on the bone. Please keep our libraries from becoming marrow donors, please. My name is Ernie Coney, President of the Friends of the Johnson Branch Library Incorporated, and I approve this message.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick Smith and I'm speaking on behalf of the people of Lakeview. I'd like to start out thanking Budget Director Tom Green and Denise Green for their timely answers to many information requests that we made and for their professionalism in explaining city and county practices to us. It's a great step for transparency in local government. Thanks, you guys. So here we are. It's quickly approaching crunch time on the budget. Tonight we've offered a list of policy proposals for the mayor and council to consider, and I use that term lightly because they're purposefully vague. In fact, rightfully so, because you need to get to the details, both on available resources and begin movement towards implementation, if not in this budget cycle, at least in the foreseeable future. But there's one idea we really want to get across, and that is the need for investment and policy that leads to a more sustainable city. That is a city that understands and plans for the areas where the economy, the environment, social equity, and efficiencies interact. Because without awareness and planning around sustainability, we just move from disaster to disaster. And we've seen that in the last few years. It's not a question of wants and needs. We need equitable and prosperous neighborhoods in every part of the city. We need more youth jobs and frankly more living wage jobs for everyone. We need a thriving arts and small business community. These aren't wants, they're necessities. To be honest, the city has shown the ability to do planning and have the will to invest in the future. Very soon a health clinic for city employees will be operating, and that took the foresight to invest an upfront amount in order to achieve millions of dollars in future insurance cost savings. We can do that on any of these proposals. Some of the proposals may cost a lot, some cost little, but the one that costs nothing is perhaps the most important in involving residents in building a resilient city that can weather any storm. That's our proposal for a sustainability council. Mayor, I know you're busy. You can take that step soon. You can take that step tonight. It's not really a lot to think about. It's not a lot of controversy. It's just good public policy. You can take that step tonight by convening an exploratory group which would include representatives from PBR's broad coalition and others at your choosing to begin discussions on what does this mean, what is this council, and more importantly, on the policies that were brought up tonight. It only makes sense to talk about. Finally, democracy is a hell of a lot more than casting a ballot every couple of years. It's about citizens taking the responsibility to make their neighborhoods, their cities, their states, nation a better place for everyone. We're ready to roll up our sleeves and take that responsibility. I expect and hope you guys do too. Thank you.
Can you hear me? I'm here tonight to talk about why libraries and librarians are important. I haven't heard much about the library, but did you know Benjamin Franklin, one of the fathers of our country, was a librarian? He was. Helen Edwards, longtime librarian, Johnson Branch Library. Actually, she was there for a long time. She was a mentor, one of the first librarians. There was another lady, Leslie Berger, but she was one of the first. And she was a mentor, and she helped develop leaders among young people in many professions. They went on to be politicians, scientists, people like that. And she was a very important person. Libraries offer homework assistance, they offer computer classes, tutorial classes, and they provide story hours for children. As a matter of fact, libraries and librarians are responsible for developing a center where children learn the importance of reading. Libraries are one of the first places children learn to read. And furthermore, libraries and librarians are involved in the lifelong learning process. Learning doesn't stop when you finish college. Learning doesn't stop when you finish high school. Learning is a lifelong process. My English teacher once told me, Kevin, learn as much as you can, as many ways as you can, as often as you can. And I'm still learning. Libraries are information centers. They're resources for community organizations, non-profit organizations, governments, and families. Now, we get the Friends of the James Weldon Johnson Branch Library. We're going into our 4th year with the James Weldon Johnson Literacy Festival. For those who don't know James Weldon Johnson, he was a famous black leader born right here in Florida. But I'm gonna go into something else. At the James Weldon Johnson Literacy Festival, we have a walk for reading, where he actually walked through the neighborhood. And you know what our chant is? Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders. And I say this, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, one day, we're going to have to pass that torch of leadership. You know, I've been a library activist for 20 years. And one day, I'm going to have to go somewhere and sit down. I say this, a lot of leaders want to hold on forever. One day, I'm going to have to pass this torch. Ladies and gentlemen, one day, you're going to have to pass the torch. And if we have libraries that are effective, then they can help us pass the torch. Because, you know, information is power. Knowledge is power. And without knowledge, we can't have effective leaders. And one thing I want to caution the City Council about, I'm going to say this in a very nice way. I'm a very nice young man. I think I am. We got to listen to the people. Right now, people don't feel like they're being listened to. You know, I'm usually not really confrontational with folks, but listen to the people. Because remember, just like they can vote you in, they can vote you out. And I love you all. Thank you.
Before we get started, Ms. Foster, a 2009 white Honda Civic Florida tag 737TBC was hit out in the lot, so. What is it? Is the owner still here? Say it again. That's a white Honda Civic, 2009, tag number 737TBC. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk. Winnie Foster, I've been working with a grassroots organization in St. Petersburg for 40 years, and we have the Sojourner Truth Center, and like Sojourner Truth, we like to speak truth to power, but I also like to speak to citizen power, which I think several other people have alluded to. And I have to say, at this third summit that the People's Budget Review has been working on, wow, imagine. I think there used to be 20 or 30 people come to budget hearings. Well, no more. Citizens in St. Petersburg are awake, and that's great. And I wanted to just quickly tell you the things that the Sojourner Truth Center have begun to identify as the most urgent in our community. One is jobs, but green jobs for youths and adults, and things that will put people to work solving the problems of climate change, which, yes, it is affecting St. Petersburg. It will affect us more in the future, And we need you and all of us to be paying real attention to that. We need to be growing local food. That's another thing we need to do because of climate change. And there is a group in St. Petersburg that is building and growing all the time. It makes us aware of the fact that we have food deserts, places in St. Petersburg where people do not have healthy food. This affects health and children particularly, but all people. So we need to pay a lot of attention to that. We need clean air and clean water. And that also has health repercussions. You know that health people tell us that there's an asthma epidemic particularly with children. We need to be addressing that. That's as important as anything. Children, all of us need to breathe clean air. And then renewable energy. That's another one of our targets. And this will bring us some economic relief if we can get solar in this wonderful sunshine city. And would help us perhaps stop paying for the economic disaster that we're paying for now in the spoiled nuclear plants.
My name is James Scott. I'm a super senior at USF St. Petersburg. No conviction. I am a environmental science and policy major, and I am a citizen of Bayou Highlands. Having also been student body president of USF St. Petersburg, I come here to give voice to the students of USF St. Pete, in the sense that we are an up-and-coming university. We are one of the greatest assets the city has. I moved here in January of 2008 from Daytona Beach. I gotta tell you, it's a lot better here. These cities come a long way. As a new citizen, what I've seen is amazing. And similarly, on the USF St. Petersburg campus, the growth and development of our programs, of our cultures, of our investment in our capital, we are one of the greatest resources of this city. The neighborhoods and the citizens are where the energy ought to and does come from, but the knowledge, and like knowledge is power, as a previous speaker said, we are the knowledge in a lot of ways. The organization of People's Budget Review, a lot of the things you guys see happening in the city, that is USF St. Petersburg students. That's the leaders that are coming from the campus that I call home. And the business leaders, the business owners, the teachers, the policy makers, the journalists, that's us. We have so much to offer with the development of our new student center, with the up-and-coming College of Business, which please support that. We need money for it. We have so much to offer. We're up-and-coming. Bring us in. All the city issues, when you're trying to solve our problems, we're here. The energy, there's so much untapped energy on my campus. And it's building a smarter, cleaner future for the city. It's not just a moral imperative, it's an economic and social imperative. And I feel deeply that on my campus, we have a lot to offer. Our students are leading the way in investing. These should be LED lights. We should have solar panels powering them. We are investing on our campus. We are leading the future. We are pushing USF to become a smarter, cleaner institution. And that's what we can do for the city. So, as a USF St. Pete student and a proud citizen of St. Pete, I say bring us in, include us, tap us to help build a smarter, cleaner future for the city.
vandalize and how much trouble we get in and what we don't do. But there's not a lot of stuff that we can do. I mean, in St. Petersburg, we have to drive all the way to Tampa or Orlando to have some fun, go to an amusement park or something, but why can't we bring some fun to us? Like, why can't we do something in St. Petersburg instead of having to drive all the way to Tampa to do something? We should have resources in St. Petersburg for all of our teens and all of the rest of the children to do something so that they don't get bored, because honestly, when you're bored, that just gets you into trouble. And everybody knows that. And there's a lot of talk about how Team America are obese and how there's so much like fatty foods and stuff like that, but there's a lot of people here who are so willing to give us fresh foods and give us new resources so that we can eat healthier, but I don't see it. I mean, all those McDonald's and Burger Kings on the street, that's what we eat all the time. I don't see us eating any fresh foods or something like that. Bring it in so that we can use it. There's a lot of talk about using it, but I don't see anybody eating fresh foods. I mean, in school, that's not advertising. Bring the fresh food so that we can eat it and so that obesity rate can go down. There's a lot of talk about what we should do, but we really need to do it because not everybody is happy about how St. Petersburg is working right now. And that's just what I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wendell Wilson. I'm a resident of St. Petersburg. For about 12 years, I live in the Mirror Lake downtown area. And I wanted to make sure, I see the budget numbers, and I want to make sure that we're not going to make people deal with austerity. I mean, austerity seems to be a big word. I mean, that whereby the money is at the top, and we're asking the people to make all the sacrifices. I want to make sure that the council doesn't give away money to the big corporations to entice them to come to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is a cool place. Once you take care of the people, the corporations will come. So do not give away the money at the top. Somehow, the money for the corporations is always a sacred cow. We can't touch that money because we need to entice Walmart and Progress Energy or Duke Energy and all these other companies. I say that's important, yes, businesses are important, but if you don't take care of the people, of the services of the people first, then I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter, because the corporations and businesses won't follow. So I think it's very important that the services for the people should be handled, services for infrastructure, okay? There's always enough money, it seems, for everything. So again, if corporations and the money that you use to entice businesses into St. Petersburg, that should come last. People first, and that's my message. Thank you.
Mayor and City Council, my name is Wanda Stewart. I'm a resident in Old Southeast St. Petersburg. Something came to my attention today, but before I go into that, I want to thank the People's Budget. You guys have done an awesome job. I've been listening in action. I worked on my master's, I finished my master's, so I'm ready to rock. Now, about today, something happened that really disturbed me, and it's dealing with our youth, ages 6 to 11. I went to Frank Pierce Center. Been going there since May 4th, trying to register my child, my grandkids, and my grandma. And where's the money, you guys? Where's the scholarship money? So I did a little investigating. I made some backdoor phone calls. Come to find out, the money's coming through the Early Learning Coalition. Parents are not registering their kids at Frank Pierce Center. There are only 9 youth ages 6 to 11 registered for the summer camp. Oh, call 211. Oh, have I been missing in action that long that we got to go through 211 to register our kids to go to Frank Pierce Center? Oh, we got to equate, we got to make sure it's equalized. What's going on, folks? I don't know. You guys probably know. I'm a little upset. In fact, I'm pretty hot. I'm unemployed. My son is a student at Eckerd College. He works part-time with the wife. The mother of the children works part-time also. So that means you got to come up with $200 and some odd for 2 kids to go to summer camp if you can't get a scholarship. Where's the money, folks? What's going on? Are we going to have latchkey kids for the summer, ages 6 to 11? What's up? Somebody gets an answer somewhere. JWD is not communicating with the city. What's going on? I called Jeff. He doesn't know what's going on. He didn't know where the money is. Maybe tomorrow we'll have an answer. What is going on? Can somebody give me an answer? Thank you.
But I also just stand because I'm concerned about our young people not having work to do. I'm concerned about our young men not having work to do. And none of it is because of something they have done, but paid the price for it, yet still have been the price they can't get jobs. I'm concerned about like Midtown needs change. So I'm here today to say our children need jobs. Our young men need jobs. Our young women need jobs. Midtown wants to be beautiful, clean, healthy, safe. We're going to do all we can. I'm going to ask y'all to help us. Any way you can, help us. Help our young men. Help our young women. Please. Thank you.
Evening, City Council, Mayor, and I really want to say I appreciate what the Budget Committee has done to bring us here to talk about the needs of the city. I'm a 8-year resident of St. Petersburg. I'm on the faculty at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. I'm also president of Green Energy Living Systems, which is a new nonprofit organization that we established in order to focus on the issues of sustainability in our city. Now, the city is a green city, right, but we can do much better than that. We focus on energy, alternative energy. We've had a lot of talk about, global warming and climate change and so forth. But we also need to address the issues of food, security, and scarcity. And I've heard a lot of talk also about, green gardens, community gardens, and those types of things. But we also need to educate too. And I'm very much in favor of the Sustainability Council as well, because I think that's the glue that really holds us together. As we look towards the future beyond the issues of environment, we also have issues of equity and economics and efficiency. And the only way we're going to really deal with those issues is we start to invest in the people of St. Petersburg, invest in the children, and I think about STEM education, things, the science and the mathematics and the technology. And also, we can even change it from not just STEM, but also the STEAM and A for arts. That creativity that's necessary. So I encourage you to invest in us, because we're here, we're ready to work with you if you're ready to work with us.
Good afternoon. My name is Paula D Witthaus, and I'm the Vice President of Fox College Neighborhood Association.
Closer, please.
To the mayor, to the city council, I would like to ask you guys, what are you going to do with those empty houses that we have in Bobby Park? Our neighborhood is a mess. We need housing for single parent who is not on a program because the rent is too high, and they're only making minimum wage. And I need to budget a stipulation for those rehab, so you can rehab those houses, those homes that is broken up. And I want to do some beautification for Newton Avenue. I want to start one block at a time. Beautification, cut the tree, and as a guy lives in front of me, his home is really grown up trees, and he's always whole campus on. And his home is on a net. And we need to get, I was one of the first person who did first rehabilitation in the 90s. I'm one of the first person who was on this program. So if you do another program like that program you had back then in the 90s, you can kind of make it. But when you get in a new home in Botany Park, you want to attract teachers to whatever. But nobody's going to move in those homes next door. So put in your budget the money you have. And for beautification, I want to decorate lights. I want to do that shit. And that's the part that I want to talk about. And you know why the kids, the black kids in the school, they get hard. A lot of them doesn't have computers. And my kids went to the CETA program. And my son, my baby son, he worked in Washington, D.C. He put computers in his third building. He worked in the post office. My daughters, all of them doing good, but and I was a single parent. And we can do it. St. Petersburg is blessed. I was all over Washington. I was my son. We are blessed in St. Petersburg. We are very blessed. I would live up there. I love St. Petersburg.
And I actually just got back this afternoon from Washington, and I got to say, it is really good to be back in St. Pete where something good can actually happen. And thank you all for being here and for loving St. Pete. And Dr. Dorsey, you're lucky your nonprofit's on the left because you might have some trouble getting that otherwise. Washington humor. Anyway, people have really said this very eloquently, but again, I wanted to mention the Sustainability Council. As a way to actually create something that's very low cost for the city. It's really not about creating more layering, but it is about creating a volunteer group that's formed based on knowledge and expertise and, of course, commitment. And I think you've seen, you have a lot of that here in St. Petersburg. And this is a group that can focus on science and math, essentially. The science, energy, water, transportation, food, and shelter. And how to do that with a mission of making evolution actually mean something in St. Pete. Something that keeps our kids and grandkids here, let's face it. Whenever I'm in Washington or other cities, I always ride the public transit just to kind of see, what's that feel like, you know? And it feels pretty good. I actually had to walk a few blocks, which was not a bad thing for me. And this is, the council can focus also on the math that makes economics work for all of us. Math that makes universal curbside recycling work versus the volunteer recycling program that we saw did not really work. And the math that makes programs like PACE, which I know we've talked to you all about, we want to talk about it again, but that is a program that saves energy, dollars, and creates jobs in St. Petersburg, and it needs to be done now. And hey, you know, even the governor supports science and math, so I guess that's a good thing. Finally, I just want to make a naked plug for Hands Across the Sand this Saturday. at noon, May 18th. The big event will be behind the Biltmire on Treasure Island. We are going to be doing, so, you know, I invite and hope all of you will join us. It's about saying no to dirty fuels. We certainly don't want drilling off Florida's coast. And we know that that specter is always out there. And I know that people in St. Petersburg almost universally agree that that is not something that we want. So I hope to see you out there. We are having a press conference beforehand, and as usual, I'm about a week late getting things done, so I am still looking for a couple of speakers for that. Please see me after if you'd like to do that. Thanks so much.
I'm speaking on behalf of the League of Women Voters tonight. I'm the Vice President of the League at this time, and I'm a resident of St. Pete. So I'm here to support universal curbside recycling. I've heard a number of people speak to that. I'm very excited to be here and to have that initiative. So I think that a lot of people in the room know a few years ago we started to really hear from the people that universal curbside recycling was something that we wanted in the city. So as we began to gather those voices, we undertook a study, which is what the League does. And we learned that, I think we all know that we've had a subscription-based service for a couple of years, and that's the first service went out of business servicing us because they were only able to get 10% subscription. We know that only a third of our residents know about that subscription. 2/3 would pay for that if they knew about it. So we know that this is something that the residents want. 2 out of 24 of municipalities in St. Pete don't have it. We're one of them. And only one in the top 50 cities in the state in population, and we don't have it. It really puts us at a competitive disadvantage. So in response to the voice of the people of St. Petersburg, we really have taken this on as something we want to forward. Rachel spoke to the coalition that we're a part of in forwarding this initiative. So we're happy to be doing that tonight. Not only is this what the people want, it makes economic sense. We spend about almost $40 to bury our waste, and we could save that $40 and gain another $35 to $65 in selling that waste. And that will result in $750,000 or more for us that we could use to make this program work. Would also save $350,000 to $400,000 for those people who presently choose to subscribe. There's about 10% of our city residents do that now. The other reason it makes economic sense is that it brings jobs to the city and to the Tampa Bay region. We know that the number 2 recycled MRFs are coming into the area, and between them, they'll cycle many tons of waste a day and provide as many as 60 jobs for the city, not counting the jobs that we could create by revitalizing our trash collection system and turning it into a multiple time per week system, if that's the way the city chose to go. Lastly, it makes environmental sense to do this. We save time in the landfill, and we all know that the clock is ticking on that issue. The landfill is filling up. It's the highest and best use of waste that's available, and really appreciate you listening to us and helping us make this work for the city. Thank you.
I just felt like I had some information that could help all of us, and wanted to let you know that if anybody wants to get anything accomplished, there are 2 parts to that. One are the thoughts, feelings, emotions, motivations, ideas, and anything similar to that, goals, and that's called the why. On the other side of that, there's the mechanism you're going to use to get it done, the technique you'll use to get it done, the system you'll use to get it done, the manner you'll use to get it done. That's called the how. And this is called the training balance scale. The myth is that you have to obviously have the goal, have the thought, have the idea. That has to exist. But the myth is that you have to have both, 50-50. You have to have the idea, the motivation, the want, the need, and you have to have the know-how, the method, technique, 50-50. And that's not true. The truth is you have to have 99% of the why, 1% of the how. And the reason is because with a strong why, you'll overcome failure, you'll overcome defeat, you'll overcome attempts that didn't work, and you'll continue, and you'll eventually succeed. When it's 50-50, you won't. And when I look around here and I see people coming up and saying they want curbside recycling, and they want beautification, they want urban garden, they want a lot of the same things. I think we ought to take advantage of the collective mind. This is a very easy group to lead. We have a lot of people here with a lot of strong why, a lot of strong feelings, emotions, and motivations, all unified. And so, I can imagine going to this type of thing in other cities and you hear people, oh, both sides, oh, it's the battle. We have here a collective mind. We need to just take advantage of that. Strong why is where it's at, and I hope that helps us get things done.
I'm Ruben Faison. I represent the Strikers Band, One Hit Wonders, song, writing music on YouTube. And I wanted to concentrate on youth violence. And when I was doing bad things, when I was misbehaving, the thing that stopped me is when my daughter just rose up. She used to come over here, she came over here. I said, that's it, I'm done, gotta do the right thing. So bad she went to college and, got the job she wanted. A lot of youth have low self-esteem, and we have to find a way to redirect their interest in violence and hate and bullying into doing the right things. Maybe we can find ways to reward them for doing the right things, because it's getting crazy out there. As a matter of fact, I put a youth group together called Digital Soldiers. They consist of Serbians, Bosnians, Puerto Ricans, and my son, and they have like positive messages to give. So all I'm saying is, we're losing too many youth. The most important people in our lives are babies, are children, are teenagers. Those are the most important people. They're the future. So whatever we're planning financially, they're the future. They're the ones who are going to be here when we're not here. So we should concentrate on them and saving their lives. And it's going to take parental control also. We have to know our kids, because a lot of people don't know their kids. Let's become the United States instead of the divided states. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I wasn't going to speak, but because I was one of the artists down here. I would say that I'm representing a little bit of the art community downtown. I've been seeing the murals. A lot of the big action has brought a lot of vibe to downtown. Part of the glorifying of everything down there, especially the 600 block. Some of the points that I wanted to bring up. What's going on right now, we have murals. But a lot of the artists are coming into contact with code enforcement. Code enforcement doesn't have any set guidelines on what exactly is allowed other than it's okay with the business owner, which should be fine. But still, we have code enforcement coming by and vandalizing and unmarking names. As far as we know, signatures are allowed, as long as it doesn't say anything about a business name. But we have some artists that we don't have their stuff just demolished because of it. And we've had harassment by code enforcement and investigators because they happen to see some of this artwork somewhere else. What you won't see downtown is just tagging and graffiti anymore, because we've now been allowed to express ourselves in a legal manner, and our voices are being heard. You don't see anyone coming back over there and important. So maybe possibly getting something better to the community to where it is artists and something imposed. I mean, I was looking all day today, and I'm like, I don't even see any of this stuff. So maybe something that's a little bit more set so we can understand. Another topic is parking for the employees that we have. We really hate having to move our car every 2 hours, leaving our business, having to lock up. A lot of us, we come in and we help each other. You know, we can't lock the door and have to go find a parking spot. There's a lot of vacant parking lots. Possibly, you know, making those available for some of the business owners. You got the LabCorp building, that parking lot right there in the 600 lot is vacant all the time. We'd be glad to pay for a parking permit. We'd still be making money, but we would have to pay for customers to get each all of them going. Another topic. Oh, yes. So I know you probably have a budget for the murals. We don't know about it. And if there is one, I know that I've heard down the grapevine that a couple of you are on with someone that might be monopolizing and supposedly supposed to be providing murals and has money for this. A lot of these artists, granted, have been doing this on their own time, no money. We do this because we love it and it's no sin. By the way, I live in Illinois. But we do it because this is where we live and we want to look at. So, oh, sorry. Oh, well, anyway, so on that parking murals budget, let us know. Thank you.
I didn't really plan to talk about it, but I sat here and heard the city saying, what do you want to do? You don't have any money. And we have plenty of ideas of what we want to do that people say that this
A little louder, please. Sorry, a little louder, please.
Okay, how's this? Better?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people saying, well, these things can be done, but we need money to do that. So this kind of impacts. At the same time, you hear folks here saying, hey, we have resources that we'd like to help and we want to do things. And that seems what we really need is a move on the part of the city to harness some of this volunteer energy. A couple of things that strike me, which are small things. They're not great global things. But small thing number one. Have you ever really tried to hire somebody in St. Petersburg, a kid? It's hard to do. Now you can get a college graduate who says, well, I don't want to be a salesman, but I'm interested in marketing. Or you can find somebody who says, well, transportation and warehouse management is pretty good, but I really don't want to be a stock collector. And that's okay. You need the upper echelon. But a lot of the kids that were worried about not being able to get by or getting into trouble are ones who weren't prepared to be a warehouse manager, but would make a good stock collector. There's no way that we can hire them. There's no way, there's no mechanism. And that doesn't take a lot of money. It would take some resources on the part of the city in terms of a person to harness some volunteers to get an employment agency, if you want to call it. It doesn't exist. Second thing that comes to my mind, we hear a lot about curbside recycling. I haven't heard the city say why they don't have it, but I suspect it's because of money. We have a lot of people in the city here who are in the advertising business, and we have people of the University of South Florida who said they'd like to get on board. Why don't we really sell the idea of people subscribing to the existing recycling service? If it catches on a little bit, then we can begin to get some real momentum towards having universal recycling. The problem that we have now is that all we have is a little flyer that comes with your water bill that says, hey, we have some recycling on Thursdays. Okay. Let's see if we can maybe have some way of bringing together our advertising abilities and not spending a lot of money, but getting people involved. Thank you.
I know it's getting late. I think I know where we can get a little bit of a scratch for a summer jobs program that Newt has brought up many times. We put off building the lens for 18 months. Since the whole plan is in flux, we could use that money and interest in any savings for a jobs programming or whatever else we could fit to the budget. Now, to me, because we have some lifespan left on the pier, the inverted pier, I think we should use that up. And since we're in flux on the lens, it doesn't really make sense to go straight into bulldozing it when we really don't have a plan for after it's bulldozed. So the 18 months would keep those 400 jobs intact, or at least some of them, since some will probably already be on their way out the door. So I'm just going to recap this. There's no reason why we can't keep the pier open for 18 months, right? Number two, we can put the savings from instead of spending the $50 million now, however much of that we do have, we'll sit on that, put that into a jobs program, which is brought up over and over and over and over here. And lastly, give the chance to redo the pier lens vision. Now I know a lot of people have said it's been done, and why rehash that, but obviously the community feels like maybe it should be rehashed. And the second time around, we could do a far more spectacular job. I'm sure a lot more people, and there'll be a lot more public input because it's been going on so long and had 2 petition drives. So, Council, and particularly Mayor Foster, I implore you to consider pushing this thing back a little bit. Thank you very much, and you all have a great night.
Hello, hello. There you go.
Yeah.
Check. Mayor Foster, would you like to speak now or at the end?
Yeah, I think we're at the end.
Right. So, well, I mean, you want the council? No. I meant the council members to speak, and then you speak, or do you want to do it first?
Well, I always want to hear from council members, but the primary purpose of tonight's meeting was to hear from you and to not express our opinions, but to listen to yours. So, thank you. When I proposed budget summits 3 years ago, and when I envisioned hearing from the people before the mayor actually submitted a balanced budget for 2 statutorily required public hearings, which nobody attended, I envisioned a lot of input. I didn't envision this. Thank you. And I mean that. I didn't envision a spin-off of the People's Budget Review, which I think is outstanding. And you have proposed some things that I think are absolutely on the table for consideration. Some things that probably can't be implemented before the end of the year. It's an incredible process. Thank you, because you've met, you've surveyed, you've talked to your neighbors. There's a lot of time spent on that process before coming in here. And then you came in here and literally took over 2 hours of your evening. Even though the Rays are playing, please go to the games every once in a while. I'm just saying, go to the games. They're on a roll.
They're losing in the third, Mayor.
They're what?
They're losing 1-0.
That's okay. We got plenty of time.
Oh, you spoiled it for me.
You took 2 hours out of your night. Thank you for staying through the whole thing. And you gave us some really great food for thought, input. And the things I heard tonight, you came with passion, you came with ideas. And I enjoy, every time you said, I love the city of St. Petersburg. That's the point. That's what this is all about. And for those of you who said, you're way better than Orlando, where is she? Did she live? Way better. And the young man, you're way better than Daytona Beach. And then a couple of you that said, we're way better than Washington, D.C. We are. We absolutely are. We have quality spaces here in St. Petersburg, and we have this unique charm. And so thank you. And we're going to continue to work. It's, you know, recession and all of these things, we're through the valley of the shadow, and I think we can do a lot more visioning together. Thank you for your time tonight. God bless you.
Okay, I'd like to start down at this end there, and we'll go up here, and council members have a few things to say.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. Your involvement is what moves us along. I remember budget summits, and 2 people would show up, and that would be about it. And I also note that what I saw 4 or 5 years ago with cut taxes, cut taxes, cut taxes is not necessarily the mantra that we're hearing. Let me change topics a little bit. How many know about Green Light Pinellas? Okay. Those who don't have your hand up, you need to learn about this. It will provide a variety of things that people have been looking for. Green Light Pinellas is a Pinellas County effort, which will be on a referendum in 2014 in November. Bus rapid transit, light rail, transportation hubs leading to jobs. And we need this type of involvement with getting Green Light Pinellas going. So go online, check it out, be involved, and let's get this type of momentum behind that transportation. It'll be on the ballot November 14, and we need to educate our citizens and let them know what kind of opportunity we have. So thank you.
I especially want to thank you for coming to, I'm biased, the most beautiful part of St. Petersburg, the west side of St. Petersburg. You're in a beautiful, beautiful place. And if you travel just a little farther west, you'll find all kinds of restaurants and shopping. This is the retail and dining center of St. Petersburg, at least we think so. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming. I want to echo what the mayor and Councilman Kennedy said about the turnout. It's just really incredible, and we do listen and we do take notes. I have notes. Matter of fact, I wanted to talk to some of the people that have already left. I do want to share with you the numbers, the summary numbers that you've been given tonight that show a $4.3 million budget deficit at this point. That number includes $3.8 million in money set aside for raises for the City of St. Petersburg employees who have not had raises in 5 years. That money is not going to go away if I have anything to do with it. That money needs to be there, and those raises need to be made. So I'm very happy about that. And we're going to have to find creative ways and think outside of the box to make the budget balanced. But we're going to do that. And I just wanted you to know that there is included in this budget a raise for employees for the city. You've got a supporter in curbside, universal curbside recycling. I just think, here's what it comes down to. I'm supposed to leave the earth better than I found it, period. And I will be candid with you. I don't think that it's going to happen this year. There's some contractual things and other things that need to be done. But I think the momentum that you've created, the energy that you've created, I predict next year it will happen. So I want to thank you. Please don't stop being involved and engaged. The last thing I want to say is those of you who talk about the arts, and those of you who talked about Central Avenue, I know Monica Abbott is one of the big West Sider Central Avenue folks. Those of you who the Central Avenue Project and the arts mean a lot to, you need to tell people to get out and vote in August and November, and they need to pay attention. They need to pay attention to who they're voting for. Two of the biggest champions and advocates for the arts and Central Avenue both are term limited and they can't be elected again. Councilwoman Curran and Councilman Danner have been huge advocates for both of those topics, and the people that vote in this election need to make sure that they replace them with advocates of equal energy and passion for those subjects, because they're important. So I just want to make sure you share that word with everybody that you talk to. Thanks for coming, and thanks for loving St. Peter.
Okay, Councilmember Newton, I'll let you go next.
Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my strength, O Lord, my Redeemer. I thank all of you for coming out and staying to the end. And I did take notes. I got community gardens, Sweetwater was in there. I can tell you that we did travel to Boston for the 2012 League of Cities. We did travel to Boston for the 2012 League of Cities, and Boston is the #1 state for community gardens. Nobody has more community gardens or food co-op programs or micro loan programs with Sam Adams Brewery and food truck industry than Boston. So we're going to be trying to adapt a lot of the stuff that they're doing further down. I can tell you the curbside recycling is prescription based now, but we do have a mechanism for single family homes. If you pay, if you get, I think, a one-a-day pickup, if I'm understanding it correctly, they will, and if you get one a week pickup and then you subscribe for the curbside, on average you'll save approximately $40 over the whole year. So it almost paid for itself, and they will come do that. That's another, I heard somebody talk about, at least that's a good start, because it is available. The Midtown Child Park CRA, I already been briefed on that, about over 80% of it falls within my district, and we're gonna hopefully go forward with that. The youth unemployment, the youth employment, I heard SPAN, I heard African American male rate, or African American rate is 16.9%, and Latinos about 20%. Expansion of recreation hours, always advocated for that. Summer even more so. I don't mind to double workshop, and if you don't find time for this, a time and a place for these children to do something constructive, they'll find a way. And it will still cost us money, because when they shut down a corner because they're jamming or hanging out, we got to send 40 officers to control traffic, and we got to pay them. So we're going to pay either way. I think we should be a little bit more proactive than that. The school to pipeline prison, the school to prison pipeline, I heard about that. We have a group set up with Pinellas Coalition for Juvenile Justice. We've been traveling back and forth to Tallahassee. I sent out numerous email blasts. I don't know where these people were. We could have used you. We're still going to be meeting because we got some low-hanging fruits. Statewide, we arrest about 58,000 juveniles. It's 58,000. And of that, 20,000 of them are first-time offenders. And only 61% of the time, statewide, they get offered a diversion program. Here in Pinellas County, it's even worse. It's only single digits, like 9% of the time. So we're locking up a lot of babies. Here in the city of St. Pete, we spend $10,000 to $20,000 every month without fail in the police department to the Pinellas County Sheriff for juvenile booking services. So we're spending money. And that dollar amount represents between 130 to 160 juveniles every month without fail. Nobody dispute that, because that's the numbers they're giving me. We also have a problem with contributing about 1,800 juveniles to that Pinellas County juvenile justice system annually. And countywide is 8,000 juveniles. So you are dead on about the problem. You're dead on. The Bible says train up a child, not a black child, not a white child, not your child or my child, but a child in the way it should go. I'm a product of that. I come from food stamps, welfare, government cheese, government programs, summer job, after school job. You're looking at it. But everything I'm not made me everything I am. I took full advantage of every opportunity and everybody that helped me to realize my potential. Now, I want to offer the same thing to those young people because God is... I know that we've been provided with a Savior that's going to cure cancer, diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. We just got to identify that opportunity, that person, give him an opportunity and help him get to that point. And we can't keep locking up these kids. That's not the answer. It's not the answer. Someone asked, the gentleman asked about how do we have a mechanism to hire juveniles. We do have that. We have a workforce readiness program that's funded to the tune of $35,000. They service 50 kids. We have a summer job program that Mayor Foster reinstated with the money when he came into office. Before that, I was fighting tooth and nail. If you watch me, I voted against every budget because there was no money in there for the children. This city, which is 60 square miles wide, 250,000 people, all the babies fall in my district. That's where the kids are. So if I don't fight for them, if I don't advocate for them, nobody will. I don't mean no disrespect to my colleagues, but it is my responsibility. Somebody did it for me. That's why I'm standing here. I had a single mom that raised 8 kids off of welfare and government subsidies with an 8th grade education that did days work in Snell Island. That's what she did and rode the bus system. So I know I come from nothing. But like I say, there's a lot of people giving me opportunities to help me realize that, and my whole goal is to make sure I pay that forward. The problem with the senior transportation, someone mentioned that about seniors not being able to get to the senior centers. I got an idea that we might use and may be feasible. We do have, I think, 1 or 2 vans at each rec center. And during the day when the kids are in school, I know the vans are sitting idle. So maybe we can use them maybe to take the seniors down to get lunch or to a program and maybe bring them back. It'll probably just cost us gas. But we got, I don't know, hundreds of vehicles that leave the city limits every night. Leave the city of St. Pete, we pay gas and maintenance for those. So to ask to use our van to transport those seniors, I don't think will be asking too much while they're sitting in the parking lot. That's just an idea. The community organization, you say you won't get behind it. I hope you do. Because we have of that $250,000 for summer jobs, we have almost 1,000 kids apply for those jobs, but we only employ 120. So the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. I'm fighting hard to try to get more money. I'm able to secure a commitment for $100,000, but I think that's in trouble too. Because I've been to JWB to try to get them to match the $100,000 for after school job. JWB wants us to kill another program and move the money. That's their answer. I just got through meeting with Dr. Greco. He told me he can't use any school money for employment for kids. So that's another no. So I'm trying hard, I'm fighting hard. But like I say, summer programs that we have are good, but we got to get to the summer. Remember, we're locking up 130 to 160 kids every month before we get to the summer. So we, the group, the community who say they're going to get behind it and fight for it, I hope you be there. Because we need about $2 million for those kids, period. And we need to stop talking about it. I talked to the chief yesterday. We had a round and around. And still, 30 to 40% of our sworn officers' time, and he verified it again yesterday, is spent dealing with juvenile issues. 30 to 40%. So we can get these juveniles, some of them to do other things, then we won't need to spend that much money on police, you know? But I can tell you that, and someone mentioned about the pier, that needs to be done. I don't know about 118 months, but I do know about August 27th, which is my 50th birthday. The petitions were delivered this morning. I can tell you there's more than enough bulletproof petition that will put this thing on the ballot. I think it's unfair to put those people out of work and to put them on the street so they can't feed and provide for their families and for another little 90 days until we have a clear view of what's going to happen. I think that's the right thing to do, but I can't do it. Council can't do it. That's an administrative decision. That's what legal has told me. So even one person can do that. So I hope that that won't fall on deaf ears. The libraries are important. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. My daughter has a library card. She go there. A lot of people have computers. We have computers at the library. We have internet at the library. We need to have those open for those kids to use them. The USF St. Pete is offering a partnership for clean energy, and also Dr. Dorsey, am I saying it right, is offering to help too. That's some things we should look into. If we want, somebody should. Youth resources, one young lady talked about things to do. You know, when I was coming up, we had gay blade skating rink. You know, now if you want to skate, you got to go to Pinellas Park. Okay, and then they used to congregate down at the Baywalk. But as Mr. Simba said, the good thing about Baywalk is too many teenagers. And the bad thing about Baywalk is too many teenagers. We have got to provide something for them to do. I envision over the summer, maybe using some of our Tasco equipment under the interstate across from the Tropicana field, which is designed to host a lot of cars. Have our officers and our Tasco squad start those functions up, dances, concerts, or whatever. And then we're in the front of it. We're not being reactive, we're being proactive to engage those young people. Then they won't be calling and having Facebook and having 4,000 people at a house party shooting up neighborhoods. I'm just saying it's things that we can do that won't cost us nothing. Yeah, but we got to be in front of that. Housing for single parents in Botley Park, you know, we do have housing programs. We have assistance. We have WIN programs to try to fix some of them. But some of the challenges we have, we got investors coming in buying those things. There's nothing we can do once somebody buy it. The new ones you see as a part of the NSP 1 and NSP 3 program, which is neighborhood stabilization. And that's the infill with new homes, and I thought to do infrastructure work also to beautify the neighborhood. Some of the things that you're asking for, the government has provided money for that. Last thing I want to say is that with these young people, I know what works. I know a lot of my people that hear me speak get tired of hearing it, but I'm proof positive. I'm not out carjacking anybody. I'm not robbing no banks. I'm not slanging no dope. I was given an opportunity with a 3-hour summer after school job. I was given an opportunity on the CETA program and NYC. And look at me now. I appreciate all you guys for coming out. Keep up the good fight. And know that we do have money. I mean, a lot of times we say the sky is falling. But what is disconcerting to me in every budget we do is there a line item in there to put money back into that dark hole called a reserve. And then when you go through the budget here, you hear a lot of people say, I'm not comfortable with touching reserves. That $10 million increase that we had, I think $1.5 million or $2 million went back in the reserve. That's where it went. So it wasn't really a $10 million tax increase. It was a $9 million. You know, right now we are proposing a raise for the employees. With the reserve we're sitting on, we could have been giving them a little bit of something to help offset some of the cost of living. We could have been doing that. You know, that's just the right thing to do for the people that work for you. It didn't have to be 4 years. Now it's kind of suspect. In the election year, everybody want to give out raises. You know, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. That's no plug. That's no plug against anybody. It shouldn't be that way. That's your money. We got that money through Avalon taxes, and we should. And it's protected by a resolution which says in case of budget shortfall. Well, you heard about a shortfall, so why we can't use that? You know, but you got to be more engaged. You know. I looked at, and I think I'm the only one voted against it, the health care. We increased the health care costs on the young people, on our employees. But in that increase, there's another $800,000 going to reserve for the health care budget. And we already got $1.5 million more than we need in there. So it's important that we look at what's important to us and provide for the people that's providing for us. I know I went long, but I appreciate you guys for coming out. So, and hopefully, in all of the commotion, you found out what's important, and it is the young people. They're our future, and we got to preserve that. Thank you.
Mr. Kern.
It's a good thing we finished because you were about to get buzzed. I kept encouraging Eva to do it, but being the diplomatic person she is, she wouldn't. Thank you all for coming. It's great to hear all the ideas, and I'll just tell you that I heard more ideas tonight than I did at the budget workshop yesterday. And I think what concerns me, but let me just say, I want to thank our budget staff, Tom and Denise and the rest of the staff, for all the work that they put into it, because there is a lot of work in preparing the budget. Especially what we were presented yesterday was really just the beginning for the projected deficit of $4.3 million. But even with that deficit, apparently the goal is, the mayor's goal is to continue to provide the same level of services, hold the millage rate constant, avoid using fund balance or one-time money, and provide for a general wage increase. So I think that's really pretty good if we can pull that off. With a $4.3 million deficit, we're doing great and we're a fabulous city. But I do think that all the comments that all of you made do not fall on deaf ears. I think what you're doing is great, the People's Budget Review, and if we just take some of those things and start thinking about them, but we do need to get down to serious work. We have cut a lot of employees. We're kind of at bare bones now. We really appreciate all the employees and everything that you do. So I think as this process goes on, more ideas will come forward. We're going to have to do something. You just heard one council member talk about using the reserves. I'm not one that feels that we need to balance the budget on reserves. They're there for a reason. The more you chip away with them, the less that you have. So I think we can look at some other ways to take care of our budget deficit. But I certainly thank all of you from all the different areas of the city that we're here tonight to share your ideas. Thank you.
Okay, Steve. Sure. Thank you all for coming out. I'm going to be brief. On the reserves, I'll say I agree with Councilwoman Curran. And I'll say this about the reserves. Here's what the reserves did for us. Did we give people raises? No. No, we did not. And I'm living that because I work in the school system. So I had 3% of my salary taken and told, well, that's what you should be giving. You should be doing that. That's a good thing. You should have been doing it all along, almost like I was a deadbeat from the state. And you know what? That was a cut for me because I wasn't getting a raise that whole time while I took 3% for my pension. So I get it. But I'm going to tell you this. Here's what we didn't do. We didn't lay off the number of people that other governmental agencies had to do, and that's what the reserves did. So while some people could say, yes, we would have liked raises, the ones that would have got the raises would have been real happy, but the other ones that would have gotten laid off would have been less happy. And those are hard choices, and those are difficult choices. But those are the choices that you have to make when you're sitting in this position. So one thing I'm going to tell you, please don't stand in front of me and tell me, we're here to stand with you and we're here to help, unless you mean it. And I've got one, I'm going to give you a way you can help, because I heard a whole bunch of people say that tonight. The school system needs volunteers desperately. Want to stop a kid from getting arrested? Come and mentor that kid. And I will tell you that I have spent 28 years working with kids. I'm going to give you a quick example because I think people need to hear these stories. I have a young man at Dixie Hollins High School, severely abused, taken away from his parents, severely abused, I mean tortured. This kid was tortured and has multiple personalities, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him and diagnose him. And that's a kid that didn't get arrested because I, as a social worker, was there to work with him. When he gets angry, he can come and talk to me. So if you want to make a difference for a kid, you want to stop a kid from getting arrested, I'll get you a volunteer application right now. I wish I would. I'm bringing some to the next budget meeting. I'm going to warn you. So when you stand up there and say that, I'm going to hand you one. And there's other ways, but call the office if you want to volunteer. We have the Mayor's Mentors and More program. Every school in the district needs volunteers. I'll be more than happy to connect you to that. I think that's a good goal. It's a goal that I've worked on for 28 years, making life better for these children in our city. I think the other curbside recycling I support, and the arts I certainly support as well, and the other things on that whole list was a fairly reasonable list that are all things that we should set as goals and work towards. So I'm ready to work with you. I appreciate it. Call me anytime, and thank you.
Okay, I know this will be hard to believe, but I will be brief. 47 of you, at least that's the number I was trying to, I may be off one or two, but 48, okay. People spoke tonight. And last meeting I think was 37, something in that neighborhood. So you're speaking, and that's what we want to hear. You need to understand that this is part of the beginning of the budget process. And we are listening to you, trust me. we, took a lot of notes, and a lot of these are repetitions from the last time, which means it's pretty solid. And I want you to know, and I only want to say one thing about one issue, and it had to be about keeping jobs local. And I want you to know that whenever a job is leased in the city puts out through procurement, and a job is given to someone, the first question we always ask is it a local contractor? If it's not a local contractor, does it have subs that are local? We are very conscious of that, and it's something that all of us are very much aware of. We want to keep the jobs here because it makes sense. I mean, the money stays here, and it gets recycled through the whole economy. So we hear you, and we are making an effort to do that. Part of the problem is that we got to get more vendors to sign up to do business with the city. And maybe that's our fault. Maybe we need to make that a little easier. But anyway, thank you all for coming. And a couple of Councilmember Nurse, Chair Nurse had to leave. He had another commitment to go to, so since I'm Vice Chair, I'm the guy finishing it up. So everybody have a great evening. Drive safely.